This is your funeral music. Each week we contemplate our mortality with a new guest to share songs that they want played at their funeral. If this is your first visit with us, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm Michael Vensky. What songs are on your funeral music playlist? You have one, right? Well, if so, you should consider coming on the air and sharing those tunes with us. You can learn more about our program at yourfuneralmusic.com. Our guest this week is Lynda W. Lynda is a retired hospital gift shop manager. She spent 20 years doing this work and loved to be able to help and give all the proceeds to patient care, working with volunteers and finding interesting products for our best customers, our employees. Lynda has 2 children and 2 grandsons, and she's been lucky enough to live in several U.S. states and travel to Mexico, China, Japan, and to Europe on several occasions. Lynda was married for 30 years, divorced, and then later spent 14 years with her best man and best friend. This is your funeral music, Lynda. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. We are snug as a bug in a rug here, sitting right next to each other, practically cheek to cheek. Welcome to the show. How are you? How has this process been, creating this list?
Rather introspective and fine.
A fine experience. It was all right. It was fine.
Well, I'd been at it a while. I'd been compiling a list of songs because I'd had to do it for several other people. And I thought I want mine, and I want my children to know what they are.
Yeah, it's helpful.
So they don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. It's one less thing rather than, I don't know, did Mom like that song? I don't know. Let's just do Amazing Grace.
Very often.
So we're starting this night with one of your favorite songs. Is that right?
Yes.
Or favorite song on the list.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
And so this evening, this song, in 2021, it was inducted into the National Recording Registry as part of the Heritage in American Recorded Sound. And the song, this song it had 358 weeks on top of the World Digital Songs chart, making it the longest leading #1 hit on any of the Billboard song charts. This song it's Over the Rainbow, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and it's performed by Israel Kamaka-Vivole, or is, and he had died in 1997. He passed away in 1997 at the age of 38. Very young man. How did you decide to start here tonight, Lynda? How did this song find its way to your funeral music playlist?
Well, it started a very long time ago in elementary school, seeing The Wizard of Oz. It's the first time I heard it. Then I was in 7th grade choir, and we sang it in choir. And then later, with my partner, we heard the Is version. And we both just fell in love with it, even beyond that original Judy Garland piece.
Yeah. When you were in school and this song was popular then, was it kind of like the song swept the nation? Did this because The Wizard of Oz was that 1929? Or somewhere in there?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was early.
Yeah.
So it was still popular then when you were in school.
Yes. Well, because they showed The Wizard of Oz on television once a year.
Really?
Yes. where we lived.
Oh, was that for like a Christmas thing or just?
I'm thinking Halloween. Maybe
I don't know
wrong.
why I said Christmas. Yeah, of course, the Wicked Witch of the North. Yikes.
My sister would remember for sure, but it would come on once a year.
Okay.
And we'd always watch it.
The Wizard of Oz. So,
Yeah.
so this is Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Iz off of his album Facing Future. And this song, this first track, I love that it starts and he says that this song is for Gabby. Do you know anyone in your life named Gabby?
I don't.
This is Your Funeral Music, where we are listening to the jams you won't get to hear. And our guest this week is Lynda W. Now, this next song, it comes from the 2012 documentary film Chasing Ice, about the efforts of a nature photographer to publicize the effects of climate change. The film, it received an Academy Award nomination for Best Original Song for this next song, Before My Time, written by Jay Ralph and performed by Scarlett Johansson and Joshua Bell. Lynda, you were sharing about this song. What can you tell us about this number?
Well, it means a lot to me. I saw the movie with my partner, and we were just kind of blown away by the seriousness of the movie and the bleakness. And it's really hard to watch because it's talking so much about our planet dying, in a sense. And at the end of the movie, Scarlett Johansson sings this song, and it's chilling and beautiful, and you kind of leave the movie, and it's like the explanation point to end the movie for me. And it says, one of the lines is, I don't want to die alone. And for me, it's not physical aloneness, but I want to know that my loved ones are around, my good friends, my family, just that I feel their love. And that would be encompassing in my life.
Lynda, that sounds so selfish of you. Just be around me. I want to feel your love. I was thinking, as you were speaking, I was thinking about how it could also be interpreted another way, where you want not to feel the loved ones around you or to feel their love for you, but for them to feel the love you have for them.
Yes, that would be true.
Like,
I want them to know.
It goes both ways.
Yes.
Okay. Before
They
my
aren't
time.
alone either.
It's when you were watching. I've never seen this film. I worry about the planet, but I don't have kids myself. I think about having children, and I think about whether or not to bring them into our planet, into the world. How do you? I know you have grandchildren. How do you stay hopeful for them and their tomorrow?
I guess I would say some of that exists in every generation. My parents didn't know really what kind of a life they were bringing me into, and did it anyway. So it's different
And they
for
did
every
it anyway.
generation. They did it anyway.
Welcome back to Your Funeral Music. Now this next song, it's Ripple. It's the 6th song on the Grateful Dead album American Beauty. It was released as the B-side to the single Truckin' and was used in the 1985 film Mask with Cher and Eric Stoltz. In 2021, Rolling Stone ranked the song at number 334 in their updated list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Lynda, you are our guest this week on Your Funeral Music. This is Your Funeral Music. So how does this song resonate with you? Are there specific lyrics in this song that stand out to you?
To me, it just talks about your reactions. You never quite know how those waves go out into the world. And to question what you're doing and that you affect people. And kindness moves those effects in a more positive way. And if you're really negative, you might get some really negative results. And it just kind of makes me stop and think about what I'm doing with my life.
Welcome back. This is Your Funeral Music. We're listening to the jams you won't get to hear. Ooh, that's morbid and weird. That's right. Now, our next song, it's coming from the Tree of Forgiveness. It is the 18th and final studio album by American country folk singer John Prine. The album, it was released in April 2018, and it was the last album released before Prine himself. He passed in April 2020. The song we're talking about here is When I Get to Heaven. And this song, it closes his album, When I Get to Heaven. That's kind of presumptuous, don't you think? When I Get to Heaven. How does he know? What can you tell us about this, Lynda?
Well, I admired John Prine. I thought he was a great musician. And he wrote this song later in life and was reflecting on his life. He had some very bad health issues and had come back to do this album. And since I'm aging, I'm thinking it's really nice to reflect on your life. And I see the whole premise of his album is when he dies, he's going to go to a place he terms heaven, and he's going for a party. And I think that's a great idea. You can find your own friends and have a party and have a few drinks and smoke a cigarette.
And not have anyone judge you for it.
No, and it not affect your health because, you bought the farm.
What a gift. Where have you ever been to a place that you would, that felt like heaven?
That's a really hard song. I would think one time I was at my cabin on the dock a number of years ago, and there were northern lights. And I laid on the dock and watched the sky, and it was so beautiful. Just beautiful.
Welcome back. This is Your Funeral Music. Now, this next song is a cover originally written and performed and recorded by American singer Neil Diamond in 1967. Now, I did not know this. I didn't know that at all, so I've looked this up. And the lyrics, they were written from the perspective of a person who finds that drinking red wine is I can't even say it without smiling. It makes me so happy. But it's written from the perspective of a person who drinks red wine. They find that the only way to forget his woes is to drink red wine. Now, we're not going to listen to Mr. Neil Diamond tonight. We are listening to UB40, the English reggae and pop band from Birmingham, England. And UB40, they recorded this cover version 16 years later, so the 1983, and it went to number 1 in the UK. We are talking about the song Red, Red Wine. Oh, man. Lynda, are you a fan of red wine like I'm a fan of scotch, or what's the deal?
I like red wine. I like a good party. And this makes me think of a good party. And I think they did a better job than Neil Diamond.
Really?
Yes. Because I re-listened to Neil Diamond's. And his is not nearly enough of a party.
It's not
he's
nearly,
crying.
no. Well, yeah, he's going through some stuff. And if you've had too much red wine, those tannins can take a toll.
Yes. Yes. So I like the party aspect.
So, okay,
more.
so this is just a party song. It's so Ripple kind of slowed us down. When I Get to Heaven kind of lifts us up a little bit more, and Red Wine is our fifth song of the night. Then you kind of getting us through the top here.
Yes,
we're peaking here. Is this where we peak?
I think so.
Okay. Welcome back to Your Funeral Music. Each week we slow down to contemplate our mortality with a new guest, listening to the songs that they want played at their funeral, and learn a little bit of the meaning behind those tunes. Our guest this week is Lynda W, and I'm your host, Michael Vensky. Thank you for listening and joining us, tuning in, all the things you do. Now this next song, we're starting with a power ballad. This song, November Rain, it was released in February 1992 as the third single from the Guns N' Roses' third studio album, Use Your Illusion, I. The song peaked at number 3 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 and was the longest song to ever enter the top 10 of the chart at the time of its release. We're talking about November Rain. This song is nearly 9 minutes long. It's quite a commitment when we get down to it, thinking about how precious our lives are. So how did you decide to come to this tune? How did you decide to add such a number, a commitment piece?
Well, this was a song. There were some times in my life in the 90s that was kind of rough patches for me. And I found this song from a group I never listened to. But I like this song because it tells you about cold November rain. And it doesn't last forever. And it just always hit me that things can be really bad, but things will get better. They can get better. Life can go on. And it just sort of sustained me at times in my life. And there's a lot of instrumental music which also was soothing to me to hear it and hear the tones.
I think that a lot of people are going to hear what you shared, and I think it's going to really resonate with them. It's so important to remember that even when times are tough, it's not always going to be like that forever. If you're just joining us, welcome back. This is Your Funeral Music. And our guest this week is Lynda W. This is her funeral music. And our next song it's coming off Willie Nelson's 60th studio album, Heroes. It was released in May 2012. And the song, it's one of 3 covers on that album. This is a cover of Pearl Jam's Just Breathe. Why is this song here, Lynda?
I picked this song for the people who might attend my funeral.
Who might
Attend my funeral.
I don't know.
You know, if they're there.
Are they having a luncheon? I guess I'll go.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I hope they have fun. But I want to remind them they are still alive and they just have to breathe. It's life. Breathe into it. Enjoy.
It's life. Breathe into it. I love that. And this song, Just Breathe, it's a cover. Why is Willie the version of this song you're going with here?
Because I always love his voice. He's just Willie, that's all. He's a great musician.
Welcome back. We are winding down our night here at Your Funeral Music with Lynda W. And we're heading back across the pond to hear Northern Irish singer-songwriter Van Morrison and his song Into the Mystic. How did this song make its way here, Lynda?
Well, I happen to be a Van Morrison fan.
A fangirl. A Van fan?
Sure.
Van
Why
fan.
not? There
Okay.
you go. And this song just always is a bit mystical to me. And it just feels a bit haunting. I like haunting tunes. And I want you to go away thinking. And I think this one can make you think.
We're closing our night with our guest, Lynda's, one of her favorite songs, and it is, May I Suggest, off Side of the Road, released in 2003 by Ellis Paul with Vance Gilbert. And I looked for information about this song, couldn't find anything, so I'm hoping that you can share something about May I Suggest, Lynda.
This was an album that was sent to me by my best friend in the whole world. And they were some people, her daughter knew these musicians. And I played it, and I've played it I don't know how many times because of this song. I play it probably a few days ago in my car because I want you to think about the words he says. May I suggest this is the best time of your life? And if people are leaving my funeral, I want them to remember that I'm gone, and this is the best day of your life. Live it, enjoy it, and remember me with love. And that would be enough.
Just heard my stomach there. It almost sounds like so. I can't not make a joke. I have to make this joke.
Quite all right.
So when you're saying, and it's the best day of your life, how many enemies do you have? I'm finally gone. It's the best day of your life. Rejoice.
Well, maybe.
No, goodness. You're too sweet for that. I can't imagine anyone rejoicing.
Well, if that's what they have to do, it's fine by me.
just to get by it. So that, and this, when I heard this song, I told you earlier that this song, the lyric, this first lyric right at the top of the song, it stopped me in my tracks. May I suggest that this is the best day of your life? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Thank you, song. All right, let's get into this. Sorry. Yes. Do you have anything else you want to share about this tune in particular?
Not in this tune in particular, but I'd like to thank you.
Oh.
Thank you for letting me do this.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to have you here. It's a pleasure to get to sit with you and share these songs with our community, but also get to know you on a deeper level and learn from your wisdom. So thank you for enlightening all of us along the way. And I love your voice so much too, because you just sound so sweet and kind. And it's, if you don't have a voice like that in your life, it's nice to hear it and feel like you're getting almost like a little bit of a hug through the radio with your voice. Thank you, Lynda. Closing out the night here at Your Funeral Music with our guest, Lynda W. So happy to have you along here. I know that you've gone through a process of adding songs and removing songs. Will you give us a taste of what you did not share with us tonight?
Well, I took out Van Morrison's Brown Eyed Girl.
Because you have brown eyes.
I have very brown eyes.
Everyone knows that. We don't need the brown eye song. Got it. Okay.
No, got that. And, which other one did I tell you?
You said Ricky.
Oh, Ricky Nelson. I wanted something from Ricky Nelson, but most of his songs, other than Garden Party, are not really funeral tunes. Wake Up Little Susie. I didn't think that was appropriate. So I couldn't find anything of his to include.
But you wanted that just because you grew up with Ricky Nelson.
I grew up with Ricky Nelson and the Nelson family on television.
The golden era of TV.
Oh, yes.
Before it got so not great. Anyway, as we're closing the night, is there any message that you want to share with people who may be listening as a reminder or something that they can hold in their hearts as they listen to our time together?
I guess I would say pay attention to music and find tunes that really resonate with you and let your family know how much you love them and that you want to share those tunes with them when it comes your time.
Have you told your family this list?
Not all of it, because it changed recently, but I have the list, and it's in my things, in my funeral things. So they should know.
Well, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. It's nice to have you with us tonight. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I got to learn new music, which is a selfish reason to do this show, but I don't know anything about music, so it's helpful for me. All right, so let's close out here. Special thanks this week to our guest, Lynda W. And if you would like to be a guest on Your Funeral Music, please visit us online. You can find us at yourfuneralmusic.com. Check us out next week. We will have a new guest and a new playlist of tunes reflecting on what it means to be alive and how we want to be remembered after we're gone. Be well, Frogtown.